When we look at modern man, we have to face the fact that modern man suffers from a kind of poverty of the spirit, which stands in glaring contrast to his scientific and technological abundance. We've learned to fly the air like birds. We've learned to swim the seas like fish. And yet we haven't learned to walk the earth as brothers and sisters.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Human Interaction Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Hambone Hambleton. And today I'm going to try to muddle my way through this today. I just wanted to check in, give my official statement on what's happening in the country right now. I don't know. Like I've been staying pretty silent, at least on social media. Just because one, I know posting on social media really doesn't accomplish anything. And two, I don't know if my voice is the one that needs to be heard right now. You know, maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. I don't think that I'm the voice that needs to be heard right now. I really don't. And that's what makes this so weird for me, trying to talk about things that have never affected me personally. In fact, the same things that are affecting a large portion of our population negatively are the same things that have kind of bailed me out. Just the color of my skin, you know, has bailed me out in several interactions with police officers throughout my life. And I don't know. I haven't been going to the protests. One, I'm a coward. There's been a lot of people trying to incite violence and things like that, and I don't want to be there when something goes wrong. Now, thankfully, at least here in Lancaster, it's remained fairly peaceful. There are people here trying to sabotage the peaceful protests and incite violence, and they've been identified as white men. There have been white supremacist groups actively encouraging their members online to go out of state and attempt to create chaos, destroy property, injure people, incite violence, to try to discredit the movement. That's a known fact at this point. And I don't know, it's a tough situation to be in for me, a white man, and I can't imagine. It's probably not tough. It's not a tough decision at all for the people who are being oppressed. I understand that. There isn't a choice here. That's what you do. And I've been feeling guilty about my lack of, I don't know, it's not conviction in this sense. I applaud the cause. You know, I'm right there behind you. And, you know, I guess part of why I'm doing this is because I've been silent on social media, and I see a lot of people saying that, you know, if you choose not to speak out, you're complicit. But I don't. What do I say? What do I say that makes a difference? I hope that I've represented myself properly to in the past, you know, couple years or however long you've known me. I hope that I've represented myself in a way that lets you know exactly where I stand on issues like this. It is not with the people doing the murdering. That's for sure. And I saw a prominent black Philly comedian post something on Facebook about not feeling guilty if you don't know how to help. She said, or the post that she copied and pasted said, don't don't guilt yourself into into feeling bad because you don't know how to help. It's especially if, you're like me and you feel like your voice, my voice specifically, is not the one that needs to be heard right now. I think we need to listen to the people who experience it every day of their lives, man, I can't imagine it. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of thinking about myself and where I stand in this, what I was talking to someone about it in a private Facebook group, where they were criticizing people rioting and looting, and I was trying to understand where the hell they're coming from with that. And I asked this person who described it as lawlessness and said there's no excuse for it. I said, well, what is an excuse for lawlessness then? And, I had to ask myself the same question, because this is a cause that I believe in, BLM, Black Lives Matter. And I don't think that police officers should be allowed to get away with murdering innocent American citizens. Okay, maybe not innocent, yeah. But most of the high-profile cases that we see don't involve crimes that warrant death. And a lot of times these people are already restrained. So, or, they're a 12-year-old kid in broad daylight. It's that one really, they all get to me. But Tamir Rice and Philando Castile were the ones where I really had to take a step back and be like, one is a child. One was a child. He had a toy gun, yes, but that's an adult, a police officer trained police officer, adult, dealing with a 12-year-old child in broad daylight. So, that one really stuck with me. And then Philando Castile was, he was complying with the law in every single way possible. He was with his wife and his child in a car, complying 100%, and he was shot multiple times, dead in front of his daughter. I don't know why those things happen and then nothing changes, I do know, but I don't know what I can do to help, So, a quick episode here, where I thought of a way that maybe I can help. I want to tell the story of the time that a police officer pointed a gun at me, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, over the past week especially, and just a lot of very thought-provoking things you see online and in news stories and opinion articles and everything like that. You see a lot. It's really been making me think about this moment specifically. So I'm going to try to do it succinctly and effectively, hopefully. I'm sorry. I'm right now, the pollen is what's oppressing me. That's all I have to worry about in my life is fucking pollen. So, when I was 15 years old, I had 3 of my friends were staying at my house for the night. Yeah, we were 15 years old, still doing sleepovers. Get over it. So you have 4 white guys, 4 white kids, named Andrew, Daniel, John, and Zachary. We at one point I have to mention that my hometown where I grew up, there was a curfew when I was in high school of 11 p.m. for anyone under the age of 18. Minors had to be in their homes or in a home with a guardian of some sort by 11 p.m. I'm not sure why. Not sure why that was put into place. I was 15 years old. I wasn't paying attention to local politics. So I don't know why that was in effect, but it was. So the four of us decide at one point to go on a little adventure of sorts. There is an old graveyard a couple blocks away from my house. And, being the cool, badass kids that we were, we decided to dress up in all black and break curfew and go down there and explore that graveyard because it was creepy. And there's graves in there from, like, the 1700s, I think. So it was just a fun thing that we wanted to do. We weren't causing any mischief. We just wanted to creep ourselves out a little bit. And so we went down there and we traipsed about the graveyard for a little bit and tried to look at some of the names and stuff on the worn gravestones and almost stepped on a freshly dug grave. We don't know why that was there. We never found out why that was there, especially because it seemed like this graveyard hadn't been used in as long as we had been alive, So it was a little strange to see a freshly dug grave in there. But successfully creeped us out, I'll tell you that much. So as we decided to go back home, back to my house, again, a couple blocks away, not a big deal, we happened to walk you could take one alley all the way from there to my house. And so we're walking through the alley and we come to a cross street, and there happens to be a police officer who was set up at a common speed trap because the street that I lived on had a lot of speeders. It was warranted, to be honest. People were in some pretty severe accidents when I was growing up because they would fly down the street that I lived on. So he's there trying to catch speeders. He sees a group of 4 dressed in all black walking through an alley. He peels out after us. We run. One of my friends splits off and he gets away. We end up having to hide in this behind some like old coolant barrels at a machine shop. It's hard to explain, but we're hiding, and the police officer pulls into that parking area, and he gets out of his car. And at this point, it's me, Daniel, and John, and we don't really know what to do. We weren't doing anything wrong besides being out past 11 o'clock and maybe trespassing. But at the same time, we're kids, and most people don't have a relationship with the police where they're going to say, where they're just going to give themselves up. That's the relationship. That should tell you everything you need to know about the relationship of citizens and police in this country. We go to great lengths to protect our rights from police officers, and to, if you see a cop on the highway, you slam on your brakes, because the thought process is, that person's going to get me in trouble. That person is not going to help me. The person's not here to protect and serve. They're here to punish. That's the overwhelming majority of people in this country feel that way about the police. So right there is problem number 1. Anyway, I lost my spot now because I got on a tangent. So yeah, we're hiding behind these oil barrels, and Daniel leans around to see what's going on, to see if we can make a run for it, and he says, "Oh my God, guys, he has his gun out." Now, I understand this police officer doesn't know what he's dealing with. I understand protection, personal safety, all of that stuff. I'm not saying he did anything wrong by having his gun out. But we knew that this could end badly. You know, there's always when a gun is involved in any way, shape, or form, someone can get hurt, you know. So he tells me and John that. He says, guys, he has his gun out. And we all kind of agree, okay, jig's up, you know. So we shout to him, we're coming out, we're unarmed, we're just kids. And he says, okay. We put our hands up, we walk out. He's got the gun pointed at us. And he starts asking us questions. You know, do you have ID on you? Blah, 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 blah. Where were you? All that stuff. We comply. We tell him, you know, none of us are actually old enough to drive. We have school IDs, you know. That's all. Except for my friend Johnny, who had his older brother's duplicate ID because they look very much alike, and we could buy cigarettes with that ID. So he questions us about that. Why do you have this ID that clearly isn't yours, you know? And we both happen to be on the publication staff at our high school, which means that we had passes that allowed us into sporting events for free and gave us a little bit of leniency walking around the halls because we're supposed to be shooting video projects and things like that. So that's what we told him. Told him it was for a skit for school. And he believed us. I have to assume because we had white skin. He didn't question it any further. So he did not cuff us. He allowed us to sit in the back of the cruiser with the doors open while he made us each individually call our parents. And then he gave us a ride back to my house. Now, the thing that we were most worried about was that we were going to get in trouble, that our parents weren't going to let us get our driver's licenses. That's what we were most concerned about. Because one of us was only a couple weeks away from turning 16 and being able to get his full-time license. So that was our biggest concern was, oh no, my parents might not let me get a driver's license. At no point did it ever go through our heads like, oh no, this police officer might shoot me. This police officer might arrest me or try to, you know, brutalize me for some reason, even though I'm essentially innocent of any crime. And I keep thinking about that because I'm not sure how that would have turned out if my skin had been darker, if all of our skin had been darker. In fact, the friend who got away and ran back to my house. And when the police officer dropped us off, he said, I know there was a fourth. My mother went and got him from upstairs. And he also got his curfew violation. Like a $150 fine. That's all we got. So, I don't know. That's the thing I keep thinking about. I told you this is going to be a short episode. That's all I really have to say at this point. But think about that because there are a lot of people of color in this country who have had very similar interactions and have not lived through them. And that's what it's about. You know? There have been plenty of people with white skin who have not lived through interactions like that. And yeah, I've seen so many people say, they try to explain why Black Lives Matter is an important thing to say. We're not saying that only Black Lives Matter, but they're the ones who are often targeted by this kind of behavior. You know, I read something, I forget what article it was, where it was from, but I want to say Washington Post, but the point they made was that, and one that I'm aware of, is that this is not new. This has been happening for centuries. Police have been brutalizing and oppressing citizens of America, and disproportionately black citizens of America for a very long time. This is not something new, but it's being filmed now. And as much as I hate social media, I think this is what we need it for, is to be able to put all of this in the public eye, and to be able to geez, excuse me. But that's what we need social media for right now, is to show what's happening in this country live and in a way where anybody can see it, and it can't be covered up or rebranded by the media, which I've seen a lot of reports of. I was so excited to hear that police officers were kneeling with protesters, putting down their weapons. I thought that was a beautiful, beautiful moment. And then you see that 45 minutes to an hour after the pictures are taken for the papers, they're shooting tear gas, they're macing people, they're beating people. And it's really, really disingenuous. Ingenuine? I don't know. It's really disingenuous. I think that's the word I want. It's shitty. That's what it is. So I don't know, guys. Maybe my voice didn't need to be heard. Maybe I didn't need to do this. Maybe my story is not worth thinking about, but it is for me. This is how I'm dealing with it. Trying to help in any way I can. Trying to share pictures of saboteurs who are showing up at protests when I see them. Shared online anyway. Like I said, I haven't been going to the protests because I am a coward. And, man, I don't know. Maybe it gave you something to think about it. Maybe it's some food for thought. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is pointless. Seems like everything we do is pointless at this point. So, if you're out there, stay safe. I don't want any of my friends being hurt, standing up for what they believe in. And, yeah. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.
When they broke down the door with the guards in the face of your wife and child, and as they pinned you to the floor, did you say, officer, I'm not resisting you? American justice, American dream, is this what the other half means? Half of our lives is solved in fear, half our rights, we disappear. Is our apathy so corrosive? Where does the cycle start? Hear the sirens screaming out in the distance, hold your family close to you. American justice, American life, a war of words that is mine. I wish the good cops that they exist. the guns in the face of